what's up, Chris? Demo video for you for your Saber from Nevin Varner. This will remain unlisted, and I'll just hold this video until you tell me you get this in the mail. And then hopefully you watch this before you dig too much into this guy so that I can explain to you what's going on. Okay, this is obviously installed the Proffie V2 that you provided me. This is a 2-button setup. So you've got your 2 switches here. You got one switch right here and another low profile switch right here. These were kind of a doozy to set up, but they're nice and sturdy now, and they work great, right? You've got CCSabers LEDs in there, and then to get to everything, what you want to do is unscrew this handle. Now this handle is going to be tight. There's going to be parts of it that are loose, and then you'll get to like some parts and it's tight. Just work through it. It's the nature of the build, and then also what I had to do with the chassis, which I'll show you. You'll come right out of here. And then here is your chassis with your crystal chamber. So Nevin gave you a crystal chamber in here. This chassis is 0.98 inches. It's very cram-fu. And then I didn't have a whole lot of room back here, right? So I had to stack the board on top of the battery. You have a removable battery setup. And then you've got a 24 millimeters, it's a Smuggler's Outpost speaker back here. This is part of the reason why a CFX would not, the CFX would not work well in this Saber, because they're on a 0.98 inch chassis and you have to stack the board and the battery. It's wild, right? So then I had to wire up, you know, I've got a crystal chamber right in front of the chassis that I wired up. Also, sorry, I'm losing my words. It's early in the morning for me. So that's what I did there. So what you can't see on the tip of the chassis right here is there was just a thin lip on the underside of this crystal chamber to attach the chassis to. There wasn't very much material at all. I actually had to go in and I used some JB weld on the inside of that lip, and I made a small lip on my chassis, and I had to slide that in place, and then I had to rig it in a way where it stayed still on my desk until it cured. That was the only way to secure this chassis. So that's what's going on there. It's on there pretty tough now. It's not going to go anywhere on you. But I just want you to know what's going on there, right? And then I did make this battery compartment opposite of what I usually do. So I usually make the spring side for your negative side of your battery. I usually make that over here by your board. But because I needed to wire up this crystal chamber and some other pieces that I had to, I just had to wire in conjunction with the positive terminal. I made the positive terminal over here so that I could hide some wires. So just pay attention to that. I don't know if it's a big deal for you, but it is a big deal for me because I'm just used to doing things opposite. So I have to watch myself on this Saber very carefully when I put a battery in, which we'll do right now. So spring side over here by your speaker is your negative.
You have too much of your father's heart in you.
Now we'll put the handle on. Extremely tight fit, but it all goes in. So just be gentle with it, work it in, it'll go, right? Then we'll screw it all the way down. So what I did, because this was an LGT board and it had some preloaded sound fonts, I went in and just changed the config for each of those sound fonts to have an additional blade style for a crystal chamber. And I forgot to show you that crystal chamber before we put the handle on. So we'll do the demo and then we'll take the handle off and you can see the chamber. So when you're holding this in your right hand and you're looking at these buttons, I guess you can hold it in either hand and you're looking at these buttons, right? And you have them facing you up top. The button on the right hand side is your power. And then the button on your left hand side is your auxiliary. So you can use obviously the power to turn it on and off, or you can just do swing on and twist off. Just like that. Now we'll throw a blade in this guy. Your blade retention screw is right here. This takes a 1-inch diameter blade. I'll just throw it in here. Just want to make sure I'm not mashing on anything. The blade socket is a little tight, so just watch out for that. I'm not going to use your blade retention because of it, but it is right here. So we got our auxiliary for blaster deflex. Excuse me. You do have battle mode. So if you hit the blade, you know, or the saber, you'll see blade lock up in your blade until you pull away from it. Then we'll hit auxiliary, go to our next sound font.
Empress Palpatine.
So it's a very solid saber. Everything's tight in here. The chassis is tight in the handle. I mean, everything is super solid on this guy. And it works well.
More powerful than any Jedi. Your swords, please. We don't want to make a mess of things in front of the Chancellor. You won't get away this time, Dooku.
A bit of a pre-on there, right? But you know, with so if you have motion controls, you can skip all that just by swinging it on. So it just depends on what you want to do there. We'll do a few more.
General Kenobi.
Now we'll do that again. If you don't like the blade color and you want to change it, hold down your auxiliary and tap your power, and you'll hear this sound. That right there. Now you can twist this saber and go through different colors and just pick something that you like. So if we wanted this green, we'll just tap the power button and you'll hear that. So now you got a green blade. Green blade. And it should remember that on every sound font that you change the color for it. So yeah, now we're going to take the blade out and I'll show you the crystal chamber. Again, very tight, coming off and going on, but it does go. Remember that green blade, and we got a green crystal chamber.
I've been waiting for this day for a long time.
Now you got an unstable red there. Now you got an unstable crystal as well. And then to take the battery out from this guy, it'll be over here by your crystal chamber on the positive side, and you can pull it out with your finger just like that. All right, yeah, so that is basically your saber. Let me know if you got any questions. Happy to answer them for you, and I hope you enjoy. Thanks.